You're welcome back from that quick timeout. It's still Daybreak here on Trust TV, and it is time for the phone-in segment. You know, that point where we give you the opportunity to have your say. I hope you've gotten your phones close by and, grab your cup of coffee, recharge your phones, and let's chat. Now, as the country gears up for the 2027 presidential election, which I believe is still a long way from now, but it's okay, a critical question on everyone's mind is, should the presidency be open to all regions in Nigeria, or should it continue on its rotational region by regional presidency? Now, this debate has sparked intense discussion, with some arguing that it's time to break the mold of regional politics, while others believe that certain regions have been marginalized for too long. The issue of party rotation of the presidential slot has also added a new layer of complexity to this debate. Now, the APC's zoning arrangement, which has been in place since 2015, has been criticized for favoring certain regions over the others. And the PDP, on the other hand, has been accused of ignoring its own zoning arrangement, leading to a sense of disenfranchisement among some members. Now, as we explore this topic today, we want to hear from you. Should the presidency be open to all regions in Nigeria? Should parties stick to their zoning arrangements, or is it time to move beyond regional politics and look at competency and ability to deliver? Share your thoughts, share your opinions. The phone lines and the questions are shown on your screen. We really want to hear from you on this. Or is it too early to start having the conversation? Let's hear your thoughts on it.
If you pay close attention to the activities of some politicians in Nigeria, you would know that it's not about governance. They are all focused on 2027. For me, there are two things in the mix. The first one is that we need to draw lessons from what happens in other places. Look at Ghana. Every time after an election, you see the way the perception of the people reflects in their election. I mean, look at the current election. Whatever they feel about you, they just wait for the next election. And, it kind of shows in the outcome. But here it is the politicians that sort of set agenda ahead of elections. I understand we have our first caller. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
Do we still have the caller on the line?
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Godwin calling from Benue.
Godwin, it's good to have you from Benue. Go ahead, share your thoughts.
Okay, on the issue of this regional policy, I think 2027 is still very far away. And my take on it is that for now, I want to believe that let's leave everything to God. But when the time comes, it should be open to all regions. And whoever God choose should be, it is going to be whoever God choose that we will vote for. So let it be open to all regions.
Thank you, Godwin, from Makurdi. I like your submissions on two fronts. He said it's too early. Should leave everything to God. But I think there's one thing the politicians have learned better than us, that they don't have to prepare early to start showing up in the right places, saying the right things, and putting themselves in the face of people, ahead of that time, most of which we have seen. And then the conversation about region and all of that, on the one side appears to be justifiable. If you are a diverse nation, people want to see that reflect in your leadership, but for a country that is desirous of seeing its best, rule them so that they can move you to a place where everybody enjoy leadership, that becomes a big question. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. My name is Musa Abdullahi. I am calling from Yobe State.
Good morning, Mr. Abdullahi from Yobe. How is Yobe this morning?
We are doing great. My opinion on with regards to the first question is that I think has never been a time that the presidency was on to a certain regional run, because from the looks of what has been happening is that when any party, when an opposition party sees a candidate from, let's say, South, you have the other party having a candidate from the North. So if we are that divided, I think from the point, you will know that the Northerners will be voting for their candidates. We have two major parties actually from the the look of things. We have two major parties. We have been having those two major parties that have two different candidates, and all the times you have a candidate from the South, a candidate from the North. So if we are that divided, we will be having the Northerners as it happened in 2023. But there were factors that contributed to that. To what happened or what transpired in the 2023 election. And I don't want to discuss about that. But we always have a candidate from the North and a candidate from the South, and we always, cast our vote irrespective of region. So with regards to leaving things to God, I think this is what has made Nigeria or put Nigeria into its current situation. We have to act. Yes. We have to act because from day one, this after 2023 election, things have been showing that we mess up. The masses mess up. So there were no plan for this party. I'm an APC member, but from what has happened from 2023 to now, it is evident that this government has no plan as we believe during election for this country. So that is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullahi from Yobe, for your submissions, and I'm sure some Nigerians would agree with you. The mere fact that different parties present people from different geopolitical zones sort of set the stage, for people to say this one is our own. Regardless of what pedigree he has, we would go with him. And that's the point that he's making. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Lilian. Shetima Kudima calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Marlon Shetima from Maiduguri. And I hope Maiduguri is fine this morning.
Maiduguri is fine. It's cool.
All right. Please go ahead.
Well, Mr. John, it was a democracy mentality that brings these restrictions. And it is not a democracy. When we talk about democrat is a game of numbers. You open to each and every region, you open to each and every candidate. In some countries, even independent candidates have been produced without even consensus on that party. It is for you to show the acceptability of the people, the generality of the country. It is not anything that will be restricted. This region will hold for so years, this region will hold for so years. This is not a democracy. You allow people to show their acceptability, to come with their agenda, to sell to people. So they should convince people. If you look at it very well now, all our parties, they don't have even just even manifesto to convince people. They will be just coming and open disco. They will open sound and dance and dance and dance. That's all. So democracy, it is not played like that. Democracy is to convince people to come with your with your manifesto to talk to people. This is what I will do. This is what I will do. Well, you just come and open music and dance. That's all. So to me, it should be open to each and every region because it's a game of numbers. The one that people accepted. If you look at it very well, most of the presidency that we produced, it was voted by the Southerners and the Northerners too. It's combination of the two. It's not the issue of this candidate come from North, this candidate come from South. This is not democracy. We should open to each and every one. Let everyone show his acceptability by the Nigerians so that they should vote for him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Malan Shatima, some very critical points that you advanced there in your conversation. And Lilian, I was mentioning to some colleagues, I was privileged to be in the US in this last election. I left, I think, the day before the election. But anyway, that did not prevent my flight, unlike Nigeria, where you shut down the country.
Everything is shut down.
Yeah, but what was critical was that I was at a cousin's, and his voting materials arrived at his house days before the election. And you know what the amazing thing is? On that election, on that voting paper, is both the president and even the representative of that locality in school boards. They are on the same ballot. You can imagine the kind of power the people have. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Johnson from Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson from Abeokuta. How is Abeokuta this morning?
Oh, very cool and calm.
Interesting.
Yeah, as regards the issue on the topic of discussion, I mean.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you see, in this country, we shy away from the truth a lot of time. We all know the peculiarity of Nigeria as a state. Now, if you say we should continue to throw the ballot open, to throw the presidential whatever open, me and you know that Northerners will take advantage of this. They have the advantage of population. They have the advantage of democratic political architecture, in which is well designed in their own region. That is why you will see that it's very difficult for every Southerner to penetrate into the political architecture, political atmosphere of that part of the country, because they have a very formidable set. They have a mentality of that. If this person is not from our own region, he or she has to sign some certain agreement. We have to trust him to some certain level, and at the end of the day, we keep producing wrong set of people. We do not care whatever they hold or their capacity, what they can offer the country. All we just want to see is, this is our people, this is our people, this is our person. He has to be there.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson, can I ask you some questions?
Okay, I'm with you.
You know, I understand everything you are trying to say, but political data in Nigeria seem to suggest slightly something different. If you recall the 1999 election, it was Obasanjo versus a son of the North on the ballot. The North went for Obasanjo, if you recall.
Yes.
And we have had that. We had it also with Abiola. The North, he won over. Across the divide. Was it that our political consciousness as a time was better? What could have been responsible
thank
for?
You.
Yes.
Thank you for that question. Me and you can recall vividly the economic, the political atmosphere of 1999 compared to the present age. You understand? Yeah. And apart from that, the Abiola and Obasanjo scenario are somehow different. Reason be that they have a very good alliance with the Northerners.
So can't we have politicians today that will get a buy-in from across the divide? Can't we begin to build national personas that appeal to people from across the regional divides in Nigeria? Is it impossible to do in this age and time?
It's not possible, but we have developed our democratic political atmosphere to a certain level whereby it may be difficult.
Okay.
Yes, it may be a kind of difficult. That is why I told towards the 2023 election, I told people that it will be very difficult for Peter Obi of a person to skid through of that race. I told people that it won't even come near second, not to talk of first. And it happened. So, in order to have a how do we call it, a collective and a government whereby every region will have been able to produce one president at a time. We have to how do we call it? Is it zone? Yes.
Zone.
We have to zone at a particular time. This is the time of the north. Let them be. This is the time of southwest. Let them be. This is the time of southwest. So that every region, every part of the country will have produced president at one time or the other. That is why if you go to other, where do we call Niger State today, the rate of development in that state is different from the rate of development in any part of the east. The southwest it seems to be developing today simply because of the elite and the development zeal of the government and the people in that region. You can imagine what Buhari did during his time, constructing train right from Nigeria down to Niger because of the border sharing and relationship with Nigeria and and Chad. So the best way to me is every point in time we have to zone a particular we have to zone presidential candidacy to particular region so that as time goes on, every region will have produced president at one time or the other. Not that we throw it open. At the end of the day, those people that think they have more population than other, we keep winning the ballots.
All right, Johnson.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, the 3 points that have resonated with me through this was from the first caller to the second caller. First caller said, leaving it to God. We've kept on doing that. We've kept on doing that, and we're seeing the repercussion. Now, when it comes to this zoning, we have over 250 ethnic groups. It's very easy for some certain set of people to feel marginalized, which is where I believe Shetima came in to talk about it. Even if we don't want to zone or we want to zone, let us look at candidates based on credibility and what they bring to the table. Not doing campaigns and dancing and singing. Let us see credible candidates. This year, it's going to be from the north. The North should produce candidates and let Nigerians be able to pick beyond ethnicity, beyond tribe, beyond language, beyond tongue, beyond culture. People who can deliver, not just based on sentiment. If we're now zoning this time around to the South, it all boils down to, like you said, political consciousness and awakeness and the people knowing what they want. But ethnicity, religion, tribe has eaten so deep into the nation that the wanting to look for credible candidates is just covered. Like you're not seeing that.
Interesting. I wanted to say something, but we have a caller waiting. Good morning, your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Isaac. I'm calling from Lagos.
We didn't get your name, please. Can you take your name again?
My name is Isaac. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right. Are you the biblical Isaac, or we should expect another?
You said?
I said, are you the biblical Isaac, or we should expect another?
Biblical Isaac.
All right, please go ahead. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nigeria is not ready for us to open up the election for the president of this nation. Because I've been around for about 55 years. And out of that 55 years, I have been very active in monitoring election in Nigeria. So it is not an easy thing to open it up. Let's go the way we are going now. I'm telling you, there will be a time that Nigeria will be ready to now say, let's open it up. The USA, all the British policies that we are looking at, almost 200 years. We are just 50-something, or yes, thereabouts. Please, we need to take it. We will get there. I'm very sure, I'm very positive. I don't think a lot of people are saying that Nigeria is bad. Nigeria is not. We need to go through all these process. Later, we'll see that we'll get better and better.
Okay.
Better and better.
All right, Mr. Isaac, I have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
All right. All right.
In this age of information and knowledge, do we need to learn the ropes for 200 years to consider ourselves matured, to do some of these things? That's one. The second leg of the question is, there have been arguments in some quarters that in the event that we get stalked with a president, for instance, that we don't like, and we know how Nigerian politics works, somehow they can perpetuate themselves in the office. What is your perception or perspective about the argument around limiting this whole thing to just 5 years single term? You come in, you don't have to worry about the re-election. If you have reforms, just pursue them to the letter, serve out your time, and move on. And in 5 years, you would have saved ourselves another 3, and it would have gone somewhere else, and before we know, perhaps we will take care of this. What do you think about these submissions?
Okay, thank you. I don't believe that it will take us up to 200 years. I'm very sure it will take us up. We are getting better through our the election process. You know, they are adding more technology. They are doing it. Like, I would have preferred that they would do that accreditation and voting immediately. Don't do accreditation and later you put forward. Let that do accreditation and vote. It's going to solve a lot of problems. It's going to, so we can't be waiting for 200 years. At the other side of the question, sorry, can you remind me?
I was talking about single 5-year tenure with regards to solving the rotation issue.
Also, that's another thing. You can do 5 years. So we know that we are only dealing with 6 or 5 years. After 5 years, not that we are going to wait till first time, later something will happen, you enter again.
Second term.
Now, then second term. 5 years term, that one will be perfect. Will be perfect. So you know that you only have that. You now know that we are dealing with you, which are not performing well. 5 years, we will take years. And our electoral process should be tight. Very tight. Accredit both. Not accredit, you now go and sit down and they'll be waiting for. As you are voting, you can do it. We do a lot of online exams in our schools. Why can't you do it? As you are voting, it's out there. We are doing it live. Look at it took us how many days? 5 days for our own election. Just about hours for the
U.S. election.
True. So as you are voting, we are doing it live on screen. Everywhere is clear. So I would prefer we infuse more of technology to our. Though we are talking about the rural area, but we can get better. We can get sure of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac from Lagos, for your wonderful submission. It's the debate is quite broad, really, and one of the frustrations of the Nigerian populace is the fact that sometimes all of the parties give you even choices that do not resonate with you. So it's a choice between
the devil and the blue sea. Because they'll be like, this one is bad. Yeah, this one is bad. So this one is not as bad as this one.
One of my friends will say we are looking for the best local.
Yes.
Everything is local.
So just the one that is the best.
You know, so these are the argument, and maybe that is why you also have some school of thought canvassing for independent candidates. You know, the institutions have constrained Nigeria so much that what they offer you is not really a choice.
Yeah, but independence candidacy in Nigeria, is it possible? Because aside the institution, the people have a mindset. We don't know this person. Who is this person?
Yeah, I mean, but
why is this person not doing this?
It now behoves on the person to sell himself. On that same ballot paper I told you about, none of us would remember that in this last US election, there were up to 8 or 12 candidates.
Yes. But we only knew the two and Trump. Yeah.
There were some other people, and take it or leave it, they would have made some kind of impression on people. The time may not be right, but they made impressions on some people, and you'll be shocked at how times change, and how people also change. Look at the Ghanaian election. One time, it was the sitting president losing to the incoming president.
No.
He even challenged it in the court of law and lost. Another time, the people got fed up of the incoming president and voted him out and brought in the other guy who challenged him. And then the guy came in and they were not quite sure of what he was doing. He is putting forward his deputy. They dumped him and the deputy, and they went back to something. They said, at least this one we know. We don't know what else you want to foster on us with all that we have had to endure the last 4 years. So I am hoping we get to a point where the people realize the powers that they have, so that this institution cannot present every Tom, Dick, and Harry for us, and then we would have no choice but to choose among those. So our recruitment, leadership recruitment process is something we really need to look at. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Engineer Justice Namdang. I'm calling from Bida, Niger State.
Engineer Justice from Bida. What part of Bida are you staying? It's one community
Bida
after
South.
my house.
You know Bida.
Yeah. All right, Engineer. Okay, I noticed some sounds behind or around where you are.
Yes,
okay.
I want to go far from the screen.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Please go ahead and share your perspective.
Actually, if Nigeria must move really forward, I think we should shun sentiment, religion, and the best thing should be every region being represented. But the best way out is that let there be 5 years single tenure, so that things will work out very well. I'm the opinion that every region should be represented. Because when it is one-sided, we can't get the best. There are people that are of the minority, and because of the way it is, we cannot really get them to be in power. And we keep on having the same people, incompetent people, leading over 200 million Nigerians into poverty, suffering, and failure.
True.
So that is my own. Let's just be sincere to ourselves so that Nigeria will be liberated.
True.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Justice. You know, I love where he's coming from, and then when he spoke about the minorities, meaning everybody should be represented, can we look beyond just the presidency and see that there are other key positions in the nation that needs representation? We have the House of Reps, which they are working towards that. You know, that is also currently happening. But there are ministerial positions. You know, they are in major parastatals. Can we look at this rotational and regional representation take place? And say, oh, because the president is this person, we're seeing that these are all the tribes that are taking over in ministers, in offices and parastatals. Can that also be represented? You know, let this rotational and representation happen in ministries and parastatals and offices and job creation. And let's just look at the presidency with a different thought.
I think that's what the Federal Character Commission is supposed to address. It's supposed to address equity and fair representation somehow across our political divide. That is, whether it has succeeded in doing that, I don't know. I think, but the question really is, how can we get the finest of our stocks in leadership, regardless of where they are coming from? Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
We lost the call. Please do also
you know,
call
so
us back.
that has continued to be the argument, because whilst democracy is a game of numbers, it's not written anywhere that your finest stocks would have to be from the majority. You know, if it is not the kind of political accident that happened, Jonathan, for instance, would never be the president of Nigeria. Never. The way our structures are construed, he would never be. You know, it took a certain president to say, I want this person, and that was why he came into the fray, and whatever happened, and he got the opportunity to be there for the number of years he was. Somehow, in the private sector, we have managed to do that. So if you set up a business, you're not looking for somebody from your village to come and run, you're looking for the best hands. And there may be people who do not share anything with you, whether in ideology, language or religion. They are just somehow, by your own recruitment process, you've identified that this is the best man or woman for the job. We do the same thing when we look for treatments. If they tell you a certain doctor is the best gynecologist and you have concerns around that area, you travel from anywhere to anywhere in search of the best hands because you want results. We do that when we fly. Who cares where the pilot comes from? You just want to hit the sky safely and land on the other side of the globe safely. We don't worry. But when it comes to leadership, something just ignites, and we become a different animal altogether. But if it were about profit and loss, we think differently. And so sometimes I ask people questions. During the last election, I was telling them, I said, if you had a company, would you hire Mr. A, B, or C to be the managing director if you had the opportunity? Or if A, B, and C were doctors, the way you have seen and known them, would you offer? In fact, I came down to the level of saying, if you were to employ school teachers or home teachers for your wards, any of these candidates, which of them do you think you would take as a teacher for your ward, to help train both in skills and morality? The questions are very simple, but somehow we get animated when politics come into the mix, and sometimes we think that somebody from our place will better serve our interests. But the result in the last 50 years
has not worked in that way.
Has not worked that way.
Issues concerning regional leadership, it's about time we move on from that. Even if we're looking at that, political leaders should be picked based on what it is they can offer. Nigerians should look beyond sentiment. It's about time we look beyond sentiment and pick leaders who have, the interest of the nation and of the people at heart. Not your tribe people, but the general well-being of the people and the nation at heart. Well, unfortunately, we wish we could take more calls. It's been very interesting. We'll go on a quick break. When we get back, we'll be doubling back on this conversation in our discussion segment. So we'll be having our guests with us. Do stay. We'll be right back.